Welcome back to the History Shelf BookTube. My name is Peg, and I am your host as ever. I apologize for the delay in uploading new videos. Not this past weekend, but the weekend before, after I posted my most recent video with Martine, I came down with something. I was not well for like 5 days, no energy. Tested negative for COVID, but was not feeling my usual sprightly self. But hey, I am back, so I have a lot to catch up on with you. I've missed about 2 weeks worth of New Week, New Arrivals video. So that's what this video is. New Week, New Arrivals. Lots of new books from publishers. We got a mixture of history and fiction, mostly history, which is what you're here for. Some of these books, they're like preview of things to come. They're not out yet. There are a few that are already out, so I will let you know as we move through them. But let's get started, because I am behind in showing you all these groovy new releases. First book up is from great publishers at Farrar, Straus and Giroux, one of my faves. This looked particularly interesting to me. Hopefully you will find it interesting as well. This book is out now. This is by Dominic Green, and this is The Religious Revolution, The Birth of Modern Spirituality, 1848 to 1898. Nice size book here. It's out now in hardcover. Give you a little rundown on what this is about, but I'm always interested in how religion and spirituality has thrived in America, or in other cases has not, and just the different schools of thought that went into the spiritual movement, and all the different great awakenings and stuff like that. So this book says here, the late 19th century was an age of grand ideas and great expectations, fueled by rapid scientific and technological innovation. In Europe, the ancient authority of church and crown was overthrown for the volatile gambles of democracy and the capitalist market. If it was an age that claimed to liberate women, slaves, and serfs, it also harnessed children to its factories and subjected entire peoples to its empires. Amid this tumult, another sea change was underway, the Religious Revolution. In The Religious Revolution, Dominic Green charts this profound cultural and political shift, taking us on a whirlwind journey through the lives and ideas of Ralph Waldo Emerson, a big favorite on BookTube, and Walt Whitman, of Eliphas Levi and Helena Blavatsky, of Wagner and Nietzsche, of Marx, Darwin, and Gandhi. Challenged by the industrialization, globalization, and political unrest of their times, these figures found themselves connecting with the religious impulse in surprising new ways, inspiring others to move away from the strictures of religion and toward the thrill and intimacy of spirituality. The modern era is often characterized as a time of increasing secularism, but in this trenchant new work, Green demonstrates how the foundations of modern society were laid as much by spirituality as by science or reason. So that is so my type of book. Looking forward to getting into this. I've got some other things I need to move off the plate first, but Dominic Green, The Religious Revolution by Farrar, Straus and Giroux, out now. Maybe you can ask your library to order it or pick up a copy for yourself. Okay, next book that is out right now, kind of along the lines of spirituality and religion. I've been on a big reading of the Catholic minds lately, and it continues. So I've been telling you about how I'm one of the Catholic theologians I really enjoy reading for my personal spiritual fulfillment, as well as scholastically, or scholarly, is Raymond Brown. And I was really stoked to see this new book out by Paulist Press, and they were kind enough to send me a review copy. This is Raymond E. Brown and the Catholic Biblical Renewal by Donald Sr., forward by Ronald Witherup. So this is actually more of like an I don't know if it's like an intellectual biography, but let me give you a little bit of what this is about. I just finished Hebrews, Raymond Brown's commentary on Hebrews for the Bible Speaks Today series that I get from IVP. It's fantastic. really, really added a depth and poignancy to the book of Hebrews that I never possessed before. It's constantly underlining things and annotating. It was a brilliant commentary. So this book, Raymond E. Brown and the Catholic Biblical Renewal, says here, exploring the life of Raymond Brown is also to be plunged into one of the most remarkable periods in the history of the Catholic Church. Sorry, that was phrased a little oddly. Brown's exceptional personal gifts and his formative experiences explain a lot about his future professional life and the impact it had on the Catholic Church in the United States. At the same time, tracking the evolution of his publications and his reflections on his methodology illumines the struggle within Roman Catholicism to absorb historical critical methods of studying the Bible while attempting at the same time to maintain Catholic tradition and doctrine. Brown stood at the very epicenter of that struggle, a struggle whose reverberations are still part of the atmosphere of Catholicism today. So that's the rundown on that. We've got some photos in here of the young Raymond Brown. So, just the kind of my cup of tea, as it were. So I'm really excited to learn more about Raymond Brown and his role, and just trying to bridge that divide, between being a critical biblical scholar, but trying to adhere to, as the book says, the traditions and doctrines of the Catholic Church. I have said it before. In case you're new to the channel, I am, if you need to know my background, I am not Catholic. I am a Protestant, more along the Lutheran line. But I find a lot of the, especially ancient Catholic thinkers, very rigorous and challenging, and I love it. And I think Raymond Brown is more of a contemporary version of that. So I'm excited to read more about Raymond Brown himself and his thinking and his role within the Catholic Church and responses to him, what the responses are to him within that church, because I'm not aware. I just enjoy reading his works. Okay, next book up is from Viking Books. This is a book that is coming. It is not out yet. In fact, we've got a lot of books that are on the docket for fall. Fall is a big publishing time, especially October. I run the fine line as a book reviewer. In addition to, working a full-time job, I also write book reviews, and so I'm reading a lot in my spare time, and I like to try to get out. I like to challenge myself to see how much I can do. I do tend to skirt the edge of the abyss of burnout. I think there was a video from like a year or two ago where with Martine, that was pretty, it's a fun video, but it was also, I'm like, I really signed up to have all these read. Like, it was a mountain. So I think I recently kind of started feeling stressed out again, and that might have added to my illness downfall. Who knows? But I'm a type of person where I have to limit that type of stress for my health. So, but fall is a big time. In October, there's a lot of things publishing in October, and I really want to do some reviews for Shelf Awareness and Book Browse. I've got 2 more book reviews coming up for Book Browse, and Martine's like, take it easy on yourself. I just don't know what it is. When it comes to books, I go crazy. I recently had her watch Scarface with Al Pacino because it is one of my favorite movies. Yes, it is. I love it. Crazy. Sorry, I do my little impressions here and there, but yeah. Anyway, let's start with this book. I've been meaning to. Okay, oh gosh, this one's not coming out till November. Okay, what's coming? I guess it doesn't matter. Just put these on your radar for fall. Okay. Well, actually, let's go with this one. This is another book along the lines of love of reading, but also kind of spiritual in nature. This book came from Brazos Press, which is a division of the Baker Publishing Group. And a lot of my Christian viewers and readers, fans of Johnny Keene and stuff, will know that Baker is a big publishing house. They got Baker Academic, fantastic commentaries and church history, theology. But I saw this book, and I really wanted to check it out and share it with you guys. This is out now, so you can get this right now. This is The Scandal of Holiness, Renewing Your Imagination in the Company of Literary Saints. And hi, Daisy. Daisy's looking around for more treats. Just don't disturb your sister. Leave her alone. She's sleeping. Okay? And this is by Jessica Hooton Wilson, forward by Lauren F. Winter. So what attracted me to this book, and I wanted to share with you guys, and there's Brazos Press. Where's the, oh, I didn't get a pub sheet for this, but there's a lot of blurbs. Here it is, okay. So it says, reading great literature as a spiritual discipline. You know, and I'm reading a work of great literature right now with Patrice Jones, a buddy read of Moby Dick. Finally getting to that bucket list of books, of classics. And, you know, we're about almost 200 pages in. So I'm curious to see how, you know, reading great literature could be used as a spiritual discipline. So this is what intrigued me about this book. So how do we become better people? We often settle for small goals. Frugal spending, less yelling at the kids, more time at the gym, or for me it would be less yelling at the dogs. More time at the gym. That's not me at all. But we are called to something far greater. We are created to be holy. In The Scandal of Holiness, award-winning author Jessica Hooton Wilson shows that learning to hear the call of holiness requires developing a new imagination, one rooted in the act of reading. Reading great works of literature can help us cultivate an imagination that moves us toward holiness, where God opens up a way of living that extends far beyond what we can conjure for ourselves. So I just thought, oh, this sounds like a very uplifting and just a palate cleanser of sorts. So I'm really excited to dip into this. I got a nice piece of art where there's Bonhoeffer, not Bonhoeffer, sorry. So it looks like this is going to be a nice little bracing read and just some food for the soul and mind. Okay, fantastic. So those are 3 books that you can get now. The rest of the history, I believe, are things that, are on their way. They will be out later this fall, but not too much later. Well, we're at the cusp of August, almost. So August, September. So these books are coming out in a couple months. So this is from Viking Books. This is Half American, the epic story of African Americans fighting World War II at home and abroad by Matthew F. Delmont. So these are all my advanced reader copies, so I can take a look at them. It's coming out October 18th. And I do have a pub sheet, so fantastic. All right, so this book, fantastic. I'm going to hold this up while I read the description. Without Black Americans' crucial contributions to the war effort, the United States could not have been victorious. And yet these stories have long been ignored in favor of the myth of the good war fought by the greatest generation. This fall, Viking publishes Half American, the epic story. I read that to you. Okay, this is the first ever comprehensive history of World War II to focus on Black Americans. From Dartmouth professor, Guggenheim Fellow, and civil rights expert Matthew F. Delmont. In these pages are stories of Black heroes such as Thurgood Marshall, the chief lawyer for the NAACP, who investigated violence against Black troops and veterans, Benjamin O. Davis Jr., leader of the Tuskegee Airmen, who was at the forefront of the years-long fight to open the Air Force to Black pilots, Ella Baker, the civil rights leader who advocated on the home front for Black soldiers, veterans, and their families, James Thompson, the 26-year-old whose letter to a newspaper set in motion the Double Victory campaign, and poet Langston Hughes, who worked as a war correspondent for the Black press. Their bravery and patriotism in the face of unfathomable racism is both inspiring and galvanizing. In a time when these questions about race and democracy remain troublingly relevant, Half American is necessary reading. Urgent revisionist and anti-racist history that reckons with our past is the key to understanding our present and our future. So this is coming in October, so keep it on your radar. And hopefully I'll get a final copy once it's published. And I'd like to see what additional well, the bibliography is in this, but maybe pictures and photos and stuff like that. So this also looks fantastic. This is, when is this coming out? This might be coming out sooner rather than later, but this is from Knopf, Albert A. Knopf books, or Alfred Knopf. What the heck am I thinking? Oh, actually, no, this is November. Okay. This goes on sale November 1st from Alfred A. Knopf Publishers. But looks right up my alley as well. Vigilance, The Life of William Still, Father of the Underground Railroad by Andrew K. Deemer. I'm trying to avoid the glare. So again, this is the uncorrected proof, but I'm imagining the cover will be the same, but you never know. Sometimes they make those last-minute decisions to change the cover. It says here, born free in 1821 to parents who had been enslaved, William Still was drawn to anti-slavery work from a young age. Hired as a clerk at the Anti-Slavery Society office in Philadelphia, after teaching himself to read and write, he began directly assisting enslaved people who were crossing over from the South into freedom. Andrew Deemer captures the full range and accomplishments of Still's life, from his resistance to fugitive slave laws and his relationship with John Brown before the war to his long career fighting for citizenship rights and desegregation until the early 20th century. Despite Still's disappearance from history books during his lifetime, he was known as the father of the Underground Railroad. And that's funny, I haven't really heard of him either. So this is a very needed corrective to that gaping hole there. Working alongside Harriet Tubman and others at the center of the struggle for black freedom, Still helped to lay the groundwork for long-lasting activism in the black community, insisting that the success of their efforts lay not in the work of a few charismatic leaders, but in the cultivation of extensive grassroots networks. Through meticulous research and engaging writing, Vigilance establishes William Still in his rightful place as a major figure in America's abolitionist movement. Right on. I love when history does this. Someone's able to, and this is a nice. We got the bibliography already. We don't have the index. We've got notes. Extremely well researched it looks so far, and it's over 300 pages. So this is a wonderful treatment of someone I think history has looked over, and I'm looking forward to learning more about William Still. November 1st from Knopf. Keep that on your radar. Okay. All right. Oh, well, this one is coming out in summer. So this is coming out at the end of next month. So we're going to switch over to politics. I'm interested in politics until it makes me sick to my stomach, but then I'm interested in how movements evolve, how things change over time, and one example of that is the conservative movement that I think used to be, I think 30, 40 years ago, it held a relevant place in life, and it was a good balance to the left-right, the ideas of left and right. Oh, but boy, has it gone off the rails. And it's still going off the rails. There's only a couple of sane voices left, but the rest are it's just a madhouse. So I'm interested in this book for that reason alone, just to read more about how this shift has happened. But this is coming from Basic Books, August 30th. This is Partisans, the conservative revolutionaries who remade American politics in the 1990s, by Nicole Hemmer. All right, so this is coming out very soon. This is an uncorrected proof, but I do have the notes in here, and there's notes. I'm not seeing a bibliography, so we shall see if that's going to be added or if not. So Nicole Hemmer, do I have a pub sheet for this? No. So it says, a bold new history of modern conservatism that finds its origins in the populist right-wing politics of the 1990s. So Ronald Reagan has long been lionized for building a conservative coalition sustained by an optimistic vision of American exceptionalism, small government, and free markets. Those are three things I believe in. But as historian Nicole Hemmer reveals, the Reagan coalition was short-lived. It fell apart as soon as its charismatic leader left office. In the 1990s, a decade that has yet to be recognized as the breeding ground for today's polarizing politics, changing demographics and the emergence of a new political entertainment media fueled the rise of combative far-right politicians and pundits. These partisans, from Pat Buchanan and Newt Gingrich to Rush Limbaugh and Laura Ingraham, forged a new American right that emphasized anti-globalism, appeals to white resentment, and skepticism about democracy itself. Partisans is essential reading for anyone seeking to understand the crisis of American politics today. So thanks to Basic Books, because I really want to dig into this and try to understand more how this went off the rails. And maybe if there's a way of knowing how it went off, how can we get it back on? But, I'm one person. Who knows? Maybe knowing all this won't help anything, but you know what? Knowledge is power, people. Knowledge is power. So here we go. Partisans by Nicole Hemmer. August 30th, coming soon. All right, now we're going to switch over to... I got a few books from Basic Books. They got a lot. I like Basic Books. They're always putting out some good stuff. So more stuff coming in November. Okay, so these are November books. These are November. Let's stick with an October book that's coming out. I have a couple of these books, or of this author's books. We're going to switch over to military history real quick, and this is from Osprey Press, who you know I enjoy. They are part of my many hauls on military history. Yeah, I'm connected with Osprey. I'm connected with Casemate, and I am really fortunate to be able to get a look at a lot of these books before they're published. Prit Buttar, and that's how I'm pronouncing it, but I have a couple of his books, and he has written extensively on the World War I fronts, on the Eastern Front, Germany, Russia. But this one, he's moving over to World War II. And this is brand new. This is coming out October. I don't know. Let's see if this is the date. But this is his new upcoming book. If you are a fan of Prit Buttar, again, this is an advanced reading copy. This is Meat Grinder, The Battles for the Rzhev Salient, 1942 to 43. All right. Pretty substantial here. I'm going to read from the pub sheet. During World War II, barely 70 miles west of Moscow, the fighting between the German and Russian armies in the Rzhev salient was so grisly, so bloody, and saw such vast losses that the troops called the location the Meat Grinder. Given the offensives that took place here, all with heavy losses, exceeding 2 million killed, wounded, or missing, the Rzhev salient does not make the list of most recognizable locations of the war. In Meat Grinder, author Prit Buttar delves into the bloody years of fighting that took place on the Eastern Front, and using both German and Russian first-hand accounts, examines the 4 major offensives launched by the Red Army against the salient. Previously, questioning the conduct or even the necessity of the slaughter had been unthinkable. Even now, the history of the battles around Rzhev attempt to justify the numbers who died and are colored by the legacy of commanders whose own recollections attempted to protect their reputations. Meat Grinder is the complete story of the bloody history of the Rzhev salient from its formation to its final evacuation. It is also a testament to the terrible suffering of the soldiers of both sides and the local civilians who endured one of the most brutal and prolonged phases of the Second World War. So this is coming out in October 11th. There we have it. The 2 other books by Prit Buttar that I have and are fantastic are... they don't have... okay. They don't have the other 2 listed. Well, there were World War I books, but... the other books that he has written are Battleground Prussia, The Assault on Germany's Eastern Front, 1944 to 45. Between Giants, The Battle for the Baltics in World War II. And I think the most recent one he did was The Reckoning, The Defeat of Army Group South, 1944. But he's also done a lot of books on World War I. So really happy to have this. Thank you, good folks at Osprey. And I will dig into that closer to the pub date. Okay, we're just piling up these books on the other side. So we have some new ideas, just a little liquid break here. For how can Peggy get more books in this house? Oh, I'm getting a lot of books. The good thing is I'm starting to mail some books out to folks. I've got a stack. I need to go to the post office. Got lots of things. I'm trying to figure out a neat way to offer up books to you guys, and I know that I need to follow up on some of the ones that you've said you do want, so I need to go back through some comments. But we're thinking of, well, I don't want to reveal because it's Martine's brilliant idea. She's a little designer, and but I might have a lot more shelf space coming in a place you wouldn't really think about it. But it could look really dope. So anyway, I'm excited to know that I will have more places for some books. But then that's it. I told her, I said, look, I just don't want this entire house to be a library. It's crazy. You know, it's like, it's your house too. It can't just be all Peg's books. Uh, right? I mean, I'm trying to not be selfish up in here. All right, moving back on to history. So excited. It makes me want to go back and read this guy's works. I have this historian's works. I have his book on China, his history of China. I have it in a book club edition, and I don't, you know how I don't like book club editions, the old ones where they had like the little number on the back and it's that cheap binding. I don't like it. So I might have to find like a new used copy of his history of China. But this is John Kay. So John Kay has a new book coming out, and I'm so excited. Well, I'm excited to have the advanced review copy. This is Himalaya, Exploring the Roof of the World by John Kay. What a fantastic cover. I mean, that is just, woo! We just finished watching a couple nights ago a documentary called The Summit on Netflix. It was about K2. Wow. Woo! That was something. If you have Netflix, I highly advise you check out The Summit. It was breathtaking and terrifying, and I don't know why people climb these mountains. But they're beautiful. The scenery, the view from the mountaintops was just breathtakingly just chilling. Literally, you know, it's just cold. But anyway, Himalaya, Exploring the Roof of the World by John Kay, coming out in November by, yes, I should have said Knopf, Alfred A. Knopf. I know these logos now like the back of my hand. No, I don't, because it's Bloomsbury. Sorry. Oh my God, Peggy. Knopf is I think it's the dog, the Borzoi. Yeah. Okay. Sorry about that. Bloomsbury Publishing has the little archer. Okay. Boy, that teaches me to be boastful, right? I'm trying to read a book on how to be more holy, and here I am. Here I am bragging that I know these, and then but you know what? Teaches me right. Thank you, Lord. You keep me humble. Bloomsbury Publishing. Okay, our good friend John Kay here. He is a key. He is our. This is the picture of the author. What is the book that I have? I have a history. I have China, a history. I think he's also done a. Did I pick up his book on India? Anyway, I'm excited. So what is this about? A groundbreaking new look at Himalaya and how climate change is recasting one of the world's most unique geophysical, historical, environmental, and social regions. More rugged and elevated than any other zone on Earth, Himalaya embraces all of Tibet, plus 6 of the world's 8 major mountain ranges and nearly all its highest peaks. It contains around 50,000 glaciers and the most extensive permafrost outside the polar region. 35% of the global population depends on Himalaya's fresh water for crop irrigation, protein, and increasingly hydropower. Over an area nearly as big as Europe, the population is scattered, often nomadic, and always sparse. Many languages are spoken, some are written, and few are related. Religious allegiances are equally diverse. The region is also politically fragmented, its borders belonging to multiple nations with no unity in how to address the risks posed by Himalaya's environment, including a volatile near-tropical latitude in which temperatures climb from sub-zero at night to 80 degrees Fahrenheit by day. Himalaya has drawn an illustrious succession of admirers, from explorers, surveyors, and athletes to botanists and zoologists, ethnologists, and geologists, missionaries, and mountaineers. It now sits seismically unstable as tectonic plates continue to shift and the region remains gridlocked in a global debate surrounding climate change. Himalaya is historian John Kay's striking case for this spectacular but endangered corner of the planet as one of its most essential wonders. Without an otherworldly ethos and respect for its confounding, utterly fascinating features, Kay argues Himalaya will soon cease to exist. So a timely delivery from the illustrious historian John Kay. Coming out in November. Doesn't give a date in November, but yeah, I don't have a... Or is... I'll keep you updated. I hope to get a finished copy. That would be fantastic. Because I don't have the index yet. I have notes, but I don't have the index for the bibliography. Okay, so there you have it. And then 2 more upcoming books from Basic Books. These are coming in November. Okay, so we'll start with this one. This looks fantastic. Get the pub sheet out. This is by Nicholas Morton. This is The Mongol Storm, Making and Breaking Empires in the Medieval Near East. Basic Books is coming in the fall. Oh, here we go. Here we date. November 15th. November 15th. So, let's see what we got here. Even after his death, Genghis Khan's Mongol Empire grew to become the largest in history, 4 times the size of Alexander the Great's, and stretching from the Pacific to the Mediterranean. But the extent to which these conquering invasions and subsequent Mongol rule transformed the diverse landscape of the medieval Near East have been understated in our understanding of the modern world. Nicholas Morton's The Mongol Storm examines the overlapping connections of religion, architecture, trade, philosophy, and ideas that reformed over a century of Mongol rule. Rather than a Euro or even Mongol-centric perspective, this history uniquely examines the Mongol invasions from the multiple perspectives of the network of peoples of the Near East and travelers from all directions, including famous figures of this era such as Marco Polo, Ibn Battuta, Ibn Khaldun, and Roger Bacon, who observed and reported on the changing region to their respective cultures, and the impacted peoples of empires, Byzantine, Seljuk, and then Ottoman Turks, Ayyubid, Armenian, and more, under the violence of conquest. Drawing on sources from almost every major Near Eastern society, this book decenters the Crusades from our understanding of world power in this era, showing that wide-ranging consequences of the Mongol invasions influenced the geopolitical world from present-day Germany to Vietnam. Ultimately, Morton reveals how the imperial invasions contributed to many of the practices adopted in the subsequent global age of European colonization. Fabulous. That's going to be a nice, meaty fall read for y'all. And I love reading about the Mongols because they were... their impacts were... I'm not going to say, well, they were definitely far-ranging, cataclysmic in some instances, but they did definitely shape the world that we know today. And this book is going to really dive into that. So that's from Basic Books. And Basic Books kind of sticking, well, that was like more medieval, early history, yeah. And now we go back to ancient history with Basic Books. This is coming out later in November, November 29th. And I do hope to get a finished copy of this. So excited. All you Roman history fans out there are going to eat this up. We have Uncommon Wrath. How Caesar and Cato's Deadly Rivalry Destroyed the Roman Republic by Josiah Osgood. November 29th, this comes out. So let's see what this says here. The fall of the Roman Republic had its roots in institutional corrosion, economic woes, government corruption, and the rise of crime. But perhaps just as damaging was the deadly feud between Julius Caesar and Marcus Cato, politicians, rivals, and subjects of Uncommon Wrath. While Caesar and Cato shared a deep commitment to the Republic, they differed sharply in character. Caesar delighted in sensual, I like saying it that way, Uh, Pleasures, while Cato, a lifelong Stoic, embraced asceticism. Caesar was adored for his generosity, while Cato was admired for his sober austerity. Both represented qualities that had made the Republic strong, but their ideological differences fueled a stark divide amongst their fervent followers, breeding extremism and undermining the basic tenets of democratic governance. This could be written today. The ensuing decade of demonization, violence, and obstruction would eventually lead to a disastrous civil war and the fall of the Roman Republic. History repeats itself. Uncommon Wrath is a compelling, thoughtful read. Perfect for readers of Mary Beard and Barry Strauss, and I love Barry Strauss. Drawing on original research, Osgood's groundbreaking dual biography presents a new understanding of the Republic's tumultuous final years spent in the throes of violence, corruption, and extremism. Readers may see, they were, they're already ahead of me on that. Readers may see the similarities to our current moment. The political culture that Caesar and Cato engendered with their feud, in which personal rivalries trumped good governance, lawmakers were unwilling to compromise, and politicians fed on a cult of personality, is still alive in today's political climate. Indeed. So this is coming out in November, end of November. November 29th. Definitely want a finished copy of this bad boy. Let's get the full... We've got notes. I'm wondering if we're going to have a bibliography. I guess it's okay. But is there a picture of our author? Josiah Osgood. I haven't heard of him before. He's a professor of classics at Georgetown University and holds a PhD from Yale. All right. All right, there's our author there. Keep your eyes out for that one, guys and gals and everyone. So that's history. And now I've got a few here of fiction. Let me take a little sip of tea. All right. Let's take a look. This is kind of like... Actually, sorry, no. This one's not fiction. But it's an interesting little fun history. This is coming out from Penguin. Penguin Random House. This is out now because this is a finished copy. But if you like fun history about how things and food and drink are evolved, you're going to love this. This is Doctors and Distillers, the remarkable medicinal history of beer, wine, spirits, and cocktails by Camper English. What a wonderful name. Camper English. Heck yeah. Nice little soft cover. Out right now. It says here, alcohol and medicine have an inextricably... Sounds like I've been tippling, but I haven't. Alcohol and medicine have an inextricably intertwined history, with innovations in each altering the path of the other. The story stretches back to ancient times when beer and wine were used to provide nutrition and hydration, and were employed as solvents for healing botanicals. Over time, alchemists distilled elixirs designed to cure all diseases. Monastic apothecaries developed mystical botanical liqueurs. Traveling physicians concocted dubious, intoxicating nostrums, and the drinks we're familiar with today began to take form. In turn, scientists studied fermentation and formed the germ theory of disease, and developed an understanding of elemental gases and anesthetics. Modern cocktails like the old-fashioned gimlet and gin and tonic were born as delicious remedies for diseases and discomforts. In Doctors and Distillers, cocktails and spirits expert Camper English reveals how and why the contents of our medicine and liquor cabinets were, until surprisingly recently, one and the same. What do you know? Now, I gave up drinking a long time ago, but I think I could really appreciate this. I was a connoisseur of good beer. I loved good beer. It was the German in me, I suppose. Oh, but I did not like Schlitz was awful. I know my extended family on the East Coast in New Jersey and Pennsylvania. They were Schlitz drinkers. I was Schlitz. I do remember that. Anyway, this is kind of fun. It's a fun read. So, Doctors and Distillers out now. Okay, now I promise these three are fiction. So I received a final copy or a finished copy of this book, which I meant to get to, and I fell sick last week. So I'm still gonna it won't take me long to read this. It's a very slim volume, but I have the advanced reader copy. But now I've got the final copy. So if anyone is interested in an advanced reader copy, let me know. Final copy of The Disappearance of Joseph Mengele, a novel by Olivier Guez. Guez. Okay. On the outskirts, and this is from Verso Press. On the outskirts of Buenos Aires, circa 1950, a group of wealthy German expats sit around a garden barbecue reminiscing. A bust of Hitler watches over them. This group includes Joseph Mengele, the angel of death, who performed horrific experiments on the prisoners of Auschwitz. For 3 decades, until the day he collapsed in the Brazilian surf in 1979, he floated through South America in linen suits, keeping 2 steps ahead of Mossad agents, international police, and the world's journalists. Winner of France's prestigious Renaudot Prize. I'm not going to say anything about the French here, okay, or the French language. The Disappearance of Joseph Mengele traces Mengele's footsteps through these years of flight. Written by acclaimed author Olivier Guez, this rigorously researched novel, drawn almost entirely from historical documents, is a literary manhunt on the trail of one of the most elusive and evil figures of the 20th century. So this book has been translated into 25 languages and sold over 300,000 copies in France and is being adapted into a major motion picture. I'm not surprised. Guez illuminates the nadir of the European century in the Nazi society of post-war Latin America in this extraordinary novel about one of history's most reviled figures. So, yeah, I got thrown off track last week, but it was on my docket to read. So a little over 200 pages. I think I saw that Steve Donahue also had a copy, but yeah, the beautiful fold out with the Buenos Aires countryside, the coastline there. That's beautiful. So it's a beautiful little book. So this is out right now. No, sorry. I got the finished copy, but it comes out August 9th. So you could ask your library, whatever. I do have an extra copy. It has a different cover though. So anyway, so that's a little work of fiction here. Minotaur Press. I was so excited to see this writer has a new book, and it's a standalone. He's I think a Norwegian writer. You know, I like my thrillers. Icelandic. He was born in Reykjavik, Iceland. Okay. He has written 2 detective series of books, and I have them. And I need to start one of the series, but the others I've started. But this is a standalone book, and you know I love a good thriller, and I love it when it's set in a cold, remote place. Those kind of books and movies they hook me from the start. So this is Ragnar Jonasson, and this is his brand new book, Outside. It's from, again, Minotaur Books. 4 friends, 1 night. Not everyone will survive. I'm there. I love it. So I have the finished copy, so I'm believing that it's already available. Oh, yeah. Okay, this is available. It says here, so this is the instant #1 Icelandic bestseller. There goes my camera. 4 friends, 1 night. Not everyone will come out alive. When a deadly snowstorm strikes the Icelandic highlands, 4 friends seek shelter in a small abandoned hunting lodge. It is in the middle of nowhere, and there's no way of communicating with the outside world. They are isolated, but they are not alone. As the night darkens and fears intensify, an old tragedy gradually surfaces, one that forever changed the course of their friendship. Those dark memories could hold the key to the mystery the friends now find themselves in, and whether they will survive until morning. And there's our author. There's Ragnar. I'm really excited that one of his series is going to be a major TV series, The Darkness. I think that is that was one of the books that, I think it's the first book in the series of the female detective. I can't, what is her name? Hulda, I think. But anyway, standalone thriller, you know I love it. So thank you, Minotaur Books. And I like to also support new writers and debut novels. And, I was contacted by an author, and she has a new novel. It's coming out. The final copy published date is October 25th, and this sounds really good in the realm of like psychological thriller, mystery. Just I'm intrigued. And this is Brianna Cole, so thank you, Brianna. And who is the publisher here? Kensington Books. So I've read a few books from Kensington. They got some good stuff coming out. And thank you so much for inscribing my copy. That's fantastic. It's Kensington Books, but the imprint is Defina. This is called Behind Her Lives. I'm assuming that it's lives and not lives because I've read the description, but Behind Her Lives by Brianna Cole. It's coming out towards the end of October. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, she's not a new author. She's already written a couple of books, but she's written several books. My apologies, Brianna Cole. She's written several books, but this is her new book. So I might have to go back and check out some of her others. Yes, she's an established author, but when I'm contacted by authors, I'm really happy if it's up my alley and if it's a genre I enjoy. I love to be able to take a look, read, and if I like, let you know about it, and then come back and let you know and promote the book. So what's going on with Behind Her Lives? This is from best-selling author Brianna Cole comes a multicultural psychological thriller of secrets, sibling rivalry, and a woman searching for a missing sister who may not want to be found. That's not my sister, and that's in quotes. Overwhelmed by shock and relief, those are the only words Devon can muster when she is called to identify the body of a suicide victim. A body she was informed was her sister, Kennedy. But as she stares at the lifeless stranger, she's filled with questions. Who is this woman? Why was Devon listed as family? And most importantly, where is Kennedy? Her intuition tells her just one thing. This can't be a total coincidence. Desperate to put the pieces together, Devon launches her own investigation. Soon she finds herself tangled in a web of secrets and lies so twisted it blurs the lines between fact and fiction, and between the sister she thought she knew and the one who seems to have many hidden, dangerous lives. Okay. But only Kennedy would have the answers to increasingly urgent questions. Just one possibility is clear. Kennedy isn't missing. Maybe she just doesn't want to be found. And maybe you can never truly know another person, even your own sister. So that's my stuff right there, I like those psychological thrillers. So Brianna Cole, Behind Her Lives. I'm looking forward to getting into that. I'll save it for later this fall. I'll probably start to tap into it in September, and I'll report back. All right, guys, so that is my new week of new arrivals. I've got tons more to show you. As always, I'm trying to catch up on videos. I just wanted to get this one done sooner rather than later, so you all have something to look at and feast upon for the new week, and consider your reading plans for later this fall. But let me know what you think of these books. As always, I love hearing from you guys. Thank you for any likes you may give me, and any new subscribers. Thank you for joining us at the History Shelf. So until next time, take care, BookTube. See you soon.